Welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, America's #1 podcast for new real estate investors, where we know that finding discounted properties is the most proven path to financial freedom. I am your host, Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. And I am telling you this, if I can do it, so can you. So let's get started. I am really excited about this podcast because for the first time, this is going to be really different. All right. Now, part of the TTP program, the mentorship program, is that you get the opportunity to, anybody in the program gets the opportunity to come into Phoenix and meet with my team and have a team meeting. We do it every Friday, and it is an absolute blast. And this week is my absolute pleasure to bring Josh Broach here from DFW, from Dallas, Fort Worth. And he is doing incredible business already, but he's got some questions. And I thought that it would be really interesting to be able to, instead of just him and I sitting in my office going over these questions, to just do it on the podcast and let everybody know what this is kind of like. And maybe a lot of these questions that you have are what people are going through. So, Josh, you've been doing business. Mm-hmm. You've been flipping. Mm-hmm. You're transitioning to wholesale. Mm-hmm. You brought 2 acquisition managers mm-hmm. and like an office manager, mm-hmm. your admin mm-hmm. here mm-hmm. to sit with my team. You went through the team meeting. Mm-hmm. We had a great time.
It was awesome.
We had a great time. And now let's get to the nitty gritty. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let's just real quick, let everybody know how long you've been doing it mm-hmm. and kind of where your business is at now.
Yeah. So I've had my real estate license for like 5 or 6 years. I've kind of done everything from like listing houses, selling houses, working with buyers, flipping houses, what I'm currently doing. Wholesaling is what I'm currently doing. And out of everything I've done, I like the most flipping houses. I like the most wholesaling houses, primarily because I don't have to hold anybody's hand. I don't have to wait for somebody to get qualified. I don't have to, kind of baby a seller a little bit. No disrespect to anybody that loves and enjoys that. That's your passion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You should love and enjoy that. But I think at the end of the day, you should love and enjoy what you do every day. And I like going out, finding deals, flipping them, or I know in my market is tons of investors looking for deals and they're foaming at the mouth. So if you got one, they're going to buy it quick.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Got it. And so you brought your sales team in, mm-hmm. right? So you've got 2 of them, acquisition mm-hmm. managers, and each of them mm-hmm. right now mm-hmm. told me that they're getting 12 mm-hmm. leads, mm-hmm. each of them mm-hmm. or total? No, each of them.
Yeah. So we're bringing
a day.
Yeah. We're bringing in like anywhere from 17 to 24 a day.
Okay.
So I have like my marketing team, which is really the back end team, right? They're doing all the hard work. Without them, we're not making any money. They're the ones that are bringing the leads in. So, I mean, they're calling people, texting people, taking in inbound calls from different things. So they're the ones that bring the leads in, and then we pass them out, and then, my sales guys just get to work.
Awesome. And where are you getting, so people are probably watching this and listening to this, and they're wondering, where do you get 17 to 24 leads a day from?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, if I'm being transparent, it comes with spending money.
Yep.
You have to spend money on leads.
Yep.
You have to spend money on the back end team. So a lot of the stuff I do with Batch. They do a great job. It's all in one. I mean, there's a lot of great different skip tracing companies out there, but I think the aspect of all in one, mm-hmm. That helps too. So I know like what leads I have, and if I already have those leads, I'm not paying for them, opposed to going here to buy leads, going here to skip trace them, going here to do this. It kind of already lets me know I already have this, so I know it's not being doubled on.
Yeah, Batch. Well, they started out batchskiptracing.com mm-hmm. and then Batch Leads and all the other apps that they have. It's phenomenal. For sure. So are you texting and calling, mm-hmm. and are you doing any mail?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing the first 2. I'm thinking about doing some mail. The reason I'm thinking about it mainly because everybody's doing texting and calling right now. Right. So, if you look back maybe like a year ago before maybe the texting started hyping up or whatever, people weren't doing that. So your inbox was stuffed with mailers and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of seeing a decrease in mail. So maybe it's opportunity.
Interesting.
There. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of going a little old school too. Still do the the signs, the
bandit signs.
The bandit signs.
Really?
You know, I don't see a lot of people doing them now.
Sure.
So I mean, you know, I'm just trying to be creative and not really reinvent the wheel, but try to see what people aren't doing still, and then what people are doing. Do some stuff on the MLS too. So
okay.
Just try to do a mix of everything and just go to work.
So you're going after properties on the MLS. Okay, excellent. So is that like a certain criteria that you're looking for? Is it just as soon as they hit the market, you send them an offer?
You know, I really don't go as soon as I hit the market.
Okay.
Because everybody's sending them an offer at a time. They're not too motivated. I mean, even if they are motivated, they're not too, well, no, let's get this down 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, you know, let's get a fee here. Than that standpoint. But I look for stuff that's like 300 days old.
So you go for the seasoned ones, the ones that have rust on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So then they've been on the market for a while, and then do you just give them a percentage of what they have it on for, like 50% or 60% or 70%, or do you look at each one comp and then send an offer?
Yeah, I'll do that second one.
Yep.
Yeah. Mainly just because you know, they've been on it long enough. They do have some motivation, and it's not like something new that's coming on every day. We just want to quickly shoot something out. Like you kind of see, okay, they've been sitting here. I do have a little bit of time to do something. You know, it's not going to be gone tomorrow, but it could be gone tomorrow. So you do want to be active and aggressive with everything you do, you know, but you still want to be likable too.
Awesome. Perfect. What questions? Let's open this thing up.
Yeah. So I'm really just trying to grow my business more, obviously. I'm trying to just get to the role to where, like, I'm overseeing and developing and building a sales team.
Yep.
Not necessarily doing all the sales work, but creating opportunity for everybody. So some of my questions are going to come from that, opposed to the guy just getting started.
Yeah.
So my questions are, as like a business leader in developing your business, what are the top 5 things that I should be doing every day, business-wise? I know we did your team meeting earlier, and that was great. I learned some stuff from that. But like the first things you get in the offers, or what are the 5 most important things you do every day? Yeah.
So from a leadership standpoint, one, you have to remember that leadership is something that we have to really work on. Like it's another skill. It's not just like, oh, now that I've made money, I'm a great leader, and now I can just, you know, everybody's going to be great.
Yeah.
Right. So number 1 is you have to really study leadership. You got to read the books. You got to get the audibles. You got to listen to a podcast. There's a great leadership podcast by Craig Groeschel. It is absolutely phenomenal. I would listen to that and just put those leadership like ideas in your head. Number 2 is understand this. Everything is up to you. Like the extreme ownership of the success and the failure of this business is up to you, right? Everything, right? You take that extreme ownership. When you hire people, you have their financial responsibilities in your hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just with that, just understand, don't go too fast and hire too fast because you think that it's going to grow. I would rather you pull more out of the people that you have than get a lot of people, you know, because it looks cooler on Instagram or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everybody's going crazy in the office, and it's like everybody's trying to recreate some scene from that Wolf of Wall Street. Exactly. People do, right, Josh? I mean, people. That's what people think is like a successful business. It's not. It's getting the most out of absolutely everybody.
Everybody's eating.
Everybody's eating. Everybody, but also there, you know, we start out our team meetings like we just went through, going around the room and talking about gratitude. What are you grateful for this week? I think that that's a really important thing to do, not just as a team building thing, but just letting people like have a little bit of spotlight on them to communicate, and everybody's listening to them, and it just gives them a sense of confidence. It builds up confidence, I think. All right, so just having that little bit where it's all about gratitude. The 4th one would be you need to have that scoreboard. Right? You can't hold people accountable if you can't track their numbers, right? You can't hold people accountable if you don't understand what are the results of their week. I think a lot of times we think that we just go and we set it and we forget it, right? We just put people into place and say, okay, go get deals. Well, no, they need to be held accountable. They need to be, and it's not even, here's the thing, the interesting thing. We kind of talked about it in there. It's not when they're not winning. It's when they win big time and get paid those big checks, and then all of a sudden they disappear. All of a sudden they go, all of a sudden they're going on trips and vacations and aren't really doing all their tasks. So keeping a really good accountability is key.
What are some of the scoreboards that we're keeping results of?
Right. So you need to know where are your leads coming from. That's number one. Where are these leads coming from? Are they coming from bandit signs? Are they coming from texts? Are they coming from calls? Are they coming from direct mail? Are they coming from the internet leads? All of those things are important. Then from that lead, how many of those leads are quality, right? Quality is based on condition, timeline, motivation, price. The pre-quals, right? The 4 pillars of pre-qualifying. What is the condition of this property? What is the timeline? What is the motivation? What is the price? That is a quality lead. If they can get 2 of those, typically it's a quality lead. See, what I see a lot of times is if people say yes, then if they just say yes, they would consider an offer. It gets sent in, and now your guys are like, fist fighting to get a hold of these people and then do more qualifying, and it really slows down the process if you don't have more information for your sales guys, right?
Yeah, that's one thing you showed me today, and I think it's very important. Even what we're bringing in, there's also potential with the numbers that come in that you could have more than you need.
Yep.
Not per se more than you need, but maybe more than you can handle, to where you may not see who to really focus on. Though you're closing deals, you could still close way more deals if you knew who to focus on more with your time.
See, I would rather, like, by the time it gets to Ryan, my main acquisition manager. So here's the process, and you saw it today. It's we cold call. That goes in to Jackie, my lead manager. She makes sure that we're getting as much quality out of those leads as possible. Then it goes to Chad, who's my junior acquisition manager. He warms it up until the timeline's short to where they're ready to make a decision. And then my closer, Ryan, gets those deals. So everybody's like, oh, well, Ryan's got the cushiest job ever. He's got these totally ready to go qualified leads. He still has to lock it up. He still has to beat out those 2-3 other offers. He still has to build the rapport. He still has to make sure that these people are going to get to the finish line. Like, there's a lot there, but he only gets, like 3 or 4 leads a week, 5 leads a week. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, if your guys got 4 or 5 that they had to close, like that was their focus, they would close those. Sometimes we throw way too much leads at our sales guys, and it really distracts them. Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And then the 5th one, just to round this thing out, the 5th thing for leadership is just understand that you have to get paid. Okay, and I think that this is one of the things that is really, really missing in our business. Is we go, okay, I just made 20,000, I just made 50,000. I'm going to take this 50,000, and 40,000 of it is going to go here, and I'm gonna do marketing, and I'm gonna hire all these people and everything. And you only take like 5,000, or let's say 75, or even 10,000, but 33% of that is taxes, right, for personal income. So you're netting a certain amount, and you're only taking home 7 to 5 out of that 10. How do you build assets? How do you, Josh, buy apartments and buy, commercial buildings and buy single family residences and do all these things that we want to do if you're not getting the most out of the business? And what I'll tell you is I would set a goal personally that you say, okay, I want to make whatever it is this year. Like you personally, I want to net $250,000. I want to net $500,000, right? That means I need to make 20,000, or I need to make $40,000 a month, and then start reverse engineering. Okay, if my income's here, then my marketing can only be this much. My salaries or commissions or my personnel costs can only be this much, and that's going to make you always hungry. always hungry. And this business is really gonna grow because you as the leader are making like what you're achieving your goal of making this money to be able to pay off debts and to buy assets and all of these other things. If you're sitting there and all of a sudden your sales guy's making more than you in a month and you're like, wait a second, I'm taking all the risk. I'm running this whole thing. What is going on here? All of a sudden, negative things start swirling in your head, and you start kind of like looking at things a little bit differently, and you're like, what is going on here? If you are setting the goal personally to make a certain amount to take home to you and your family, and you're hitting that, everything else is going to flow. I'm telling you, everything else is going to flow.
I think also what you said is good. Another thing I took away is I mean, I value leads. I value what we spend on them, and I value when we get them because, it is like you say, you're spending money on this, you want your return. But when you do what you said, I think that the cost or the value per lead rises way higher too.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you fight for every deal and you want to increase it and you're really, really protective of the people that you want to hire. You know what I mean? Because they are really running the business for you as the business owner, and you need to bring on really incredible talent. You can't just bring on people and hope and pray that they work because they're a friend of yours that worked at some, other job or whatever else. You want to bring in really, really highly talented people that know, number one, that you're the leader and you're the owner of the company, but two, that you bring a culture that everybody wins. Everybody wins. I'm not saying like you take it all off the top and not pay your people. You have to pay your people, and you have to make the commission structure strong so that they can make a good amount, but you got to get paid. So many business owners, they take 5 or 10% of the profits. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why? You can make more being a server at a really nice restaurant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So why, as an entrepreneur, you got to pay yourself. Yep.
Totally.
And then the book Profit First really does a great job. And the beautiful thing is they're coming out with a Profit First for real estate investors in the next couple months. So depending on when you're hearing or seeing this, definitely look for that Profit First book. Yep.
Nice. Thanks, Brent.
Yep.
So what are some major activities? I mean, I know obviously being on the phone each day, things like that my sales guys should do daily that you see.
Yeah, it's all hitting their tasks. It's all making sure that the leads that they're supposed to follow up with that day get done. And not only that, but you're dumping new leads on them. So you want them to be following up with the leads that they know they have some information, but also they have to get to those new leads right away. So the number one thing, I try to take everything off of my sales guy's plate except for making those calls, building that relationship, and going out on appointments. And then I think it's more important right now, Josh, to literally go on those appointments and get in front of people face to face. I know a lot of people like doing it virtually, but if it's in your market, you've got a fantastic market to set yourself apart in these bigger markets. You got to go to the door, right? And I'm not just talking about when you have a scheduled appointment.
Yeah.
I'm talking, this is a rough house. They want to sell, but now they ghost you. Now they're not answering their phone. Now something's going on. Send them to the property, right? You have a deal that you locked up and or you're about to lock up, but it has a tenant, and the tenant and the landlord are fighting, right? Send somebody out there to mediate that. Go talk to the tenant. Go in front of them. Tell them what's going on. Explain the process. Explain that you're there to help. You know what I mean? I mean, get in front of these people if they're not answering their phone. You got to get them out there. So that's what I don't want my sales guys comping things. I don't want my sales guys putting together the paperwork. I don't want my sales guys working and communicating with the title company. That's all stuff that's on us. What these guys do is they make the calls, they go in the appointments, they close the deals, and they stay in touch with the sellers during the process to make sure that they show up for closing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I had a deal like that. You were talking about with the seller and the landlord are fighting. It was a crazy situation because the seller, it was her mom's house. She had passed away.
Yeah.
And she was about like 80 years old, the seller. And the squatter was her brother's, which had passed away, ex-wife.
Oh, geez.
So she had been there for 7 years, paying no rent.
Wow.
And this was like a 33 pop.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm not messing this up. So I went over to her house, put it under contract. I was like, okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to write her a 30-day notice.
Yep.
Before I close, and I'm still going to close on it. But sent it over, certified mail, started to her. And then I went over to the house, and like 3 days later, I was like, hey, I'm Josh. XYZ sent me over here. She wanted to make sure you got the letter. I mean, she got the receipt that you did. She's like, yeah, I don't know why she's kicking me out, this, that, and the third. I was like, I know, but, you know, if you're not out, you're going to get evicted, this, that, and the third. Let's make it easy. I'll give you $1,000 if you're out before the 30-day notice.
Beautiful.
And, I mean, literally, she was out 10 days before the notice. And she found a new place.
Yep.
And I gave the $1,000 to the landlord.
Yep.
Like, directly. And, I mean, though it became a 32 pop, but
it's better than zero.
yeah, I got to sell it and deliver the house vacant, so now it's no problems.
I will trade that any day of the week, right? We give cash for keys all the time, all the time. You know what I mean? Especially in this market where, you know, a lot of the courts are really slow and it's really tough to get like a formal eviction, and that takes time, and that takes, listen, if you have to evict somebody, you got to assume that it's going to cost you between $2,500 and $3,500 to do it. So would I rather give it to the tenant to move them out faster in a shorter timeline? Every time. And you did it for $1,000. You can do it for $500, $1,000, $2,000 for sure.
Yeah, so I'm with mediating for sure.
Yep.
So for you, what do you think it takes to like reach consistently an extra 7 deals a month on top of whatever you're doing?
Okay.
What extra work is it? What extra work is it? Is it buying more? What is it doing?
Well, I would flip that a little bit and just go, what's your income goal? You know what I mean? Because I think that people go, well, I want to do 100 deals. Okay, great. What if 100 deals only netted you $1 million, or made you grossed you $1 million? What if it was only $10,000 a deal? You know what I mean? Like, what's the income goal that you're trying to get to?
I want to be at 175 a month.
175,000.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so then, and what's your average deal size?
I would say closer to like 23. I didn't have the statistics, but anywhere from 17 to 23,000.
So let's say it's 10 deals, 10 deals a month, right? And so a couple different things. One,
now some of those deals I'm also buying myself too, but
like keeping or flipping.
I'm keeping them and flipping them because our market's crazy.
So do you want 175 on top of the ones that you keep?
I want it bottom line 175.
Okay, so 175, and how many do you want to keep?
I probably want to pick up, like right now, at least 2 a month.
2 a month. Okay, so we need 12 deals, right? Or you need to increase the amount you get per deal. So I think number one, and we talked about this, you need to blow up that buyer list because you're selling it to the same people every time, right? And that is, I'm telling you, when you do that, you see what they mark it up for. If you have that list, you're making an additional, what, 8 to 10? What do they average when they sell it?
Anywhere from 6 to 12.
Right. Right. So you're taking a deal from 17 to 30. Now all of a sudden you need to get 6 deals and 8. You could do the same amount of deals, but just bigger deals. So what I would say is, and I'll get to your more deals in a second, but for everybody out there listening, you can double the amount that you get by 2 things. Number one is you need to anchor lower on your offers, right? And just make sure that you're going after really, really good deals and trying to pull out. Don't, try to get them as deeply discounted as possible. I know that you are, but even push it further than you have. Challenge yourself. And 2, you got to get that buyer's list. You got to increase that buyer's list like crazy so that more people are going to buy it and you get the most amount of it. Now, if you want to get to those 12 deals a month, you just have to look at how many leads does it take you to get those deals, right? So you go backwards and you go, okay, it takes us 50 leads to get a deal. All right, so we need 600 leads in our pipeline to close these 12 deals, right? And so if that's the case, how do you get to those 600 leads? And how do you get that quality, and how many people do you need to be able to do that? Right? So if we're looking at it and you say, Brent, my sales guys each can take 12 new leads a day. That is 60 a week. That is 120. We're at 4 weeks. That's 480. I need to get 120 more leads. I'm just doing round numbers here, right? I don't know if it's 1 to 50, one deal for 50, but you just do the math. And then from there, you just go, okay, where are we getting our leads from? And then you invest more into that channel. You know what I mean? And then if you don't want to do that, and as you're doing that, that's you sourcing them, as we talked about, and as you have a lot of experience, you need to get referrals. You need to have people bringing you these deals to Dispo, but you can't do that unless you have a big, robust, healthy, just hungry buyer's list.
For sure.
Right. It all starts with the buyer's list. That's how you get to that 175. That's how you get to buying 2 properties in 175. Really robust. You know how to get leads. You know how to get deals. Let's get more out of every deal, and then just pour more gasoline on the amount of leads coming in at the top of the funnel, and you're there. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you got that one. It's kind of like almost the first one, but as far as you, like, what is your daily schedule in the office? Like, what do you do each day?
Wow. It just depends. You know, obviously with a lot of my day is coaching, right? And I'll spend about an hour a day in the real estate business, in the wholesaling business, reaching out, making sure everything's going clean, comping some properties, looking at it. But I don't really, you know, I've got a pretty good flow to my schedule. My schedule is pretty open. I wake up about 7:30, which everybody's like, oh my gosh, you got to sleep till 7:30. Sometimes, I mean, I got kids, but I get up at 7:30. I get the kids to school. I'm usually on the phones calling all the students that need some help from the texts from the morning, and then I am doing some podcasts, doing some videos, doing the looking at any of the deals that we've got done, typically around noon, and then I exercise 3 days a week on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I work out at noon or 1 o'clock. I like working out in the middle of the day when my body's feeling it, right? And then from there, it's just on the phone. I'm making connections with a lot of you know, top people from around the country, right? Whether it be in the coaching side or whether it be in the real estate side, just talking to people. I get texts, I get calls, I get DMs, I get all sorts of different things, and we're just on the phone all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know your life is totally different. But like somebody like me, or
yes. So
what would you say?
So in the wholesaling business, when I started out, the morning was made for finding deals. The afternoon was made for doing deals, right? So 9 to noon, I was making my calls. Noon to 12:15, I would eat lunch. You don't need an hour for lunch. Knock it off, everybody. From 12:15 to 1, I would do lead follow-up. And then from 1 to 5, I would go on the appointments, and I would lock up the deals and just manage the deals and do the transaction. And then as I started hiring more people on, it became just managing and making sure that they were up to date with their tasks and building the cash buyer database. That's where you've got the team for the sellers. Now you need to go hunting for the buyers. You need to be building up all those relationships is what I would suggest for your schedule. If you're not necessarily doing the sales side of it and following up with the leads and going on the appointments, then you need to be building the relationships with the buyers, selling those deals, and building that healthy tension with them.
So you say, like, if you just got an acquisition team, it's all you've been focusing on, and the next step would for you to become disposition yourself, build up a team, build a relationship.
Exactly.
And then get that to swamp to where you can't handle it yourself and the business, and then fill somebody over there.
That's it.
Okay.
And then once you build it to that point, once you're at that point, Josh, and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm only doing like 5 hours worth of work in this real estate business, then this opens you up for those opportunities for building those big, robust rental portfolios, raising capital to maybe do some development or to do some more flip deals, networking with people that are doing syndication deals with big properties or whatever else. Or, you know, just depends on if you want to get into coaching and that type of thing. But if you want to stay just in the real estate thing, in the real estate business, then you just start looking at what's the next evolution. Because here's the deal. Wholesaling is like the foundation. And then all these little houses that you can do in real estate are development. You can be the developer. You can build a rental portfolio. You can do fix and flips. You can be the money guy, right? All of those, you could be the bank. I mean, those are like the different silos that you can go to. It just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? Flip.
Well, I want to flip, but I mean, my big goal is to like, and I mean, obviously your goals are going to keep changing, but
sure.
My big goal is to get like a 12-unit apartment complex at one point, keep flipping, and then get me a 24-unit apartment complex, keep flipping, and a 36-unit complex, and just keep holding all those units like that, the 12, 24, 36, and kind of build my rental portfolio like that. And
love it.
Yeah.
But remember, that's a full-time job, reviewing those deals, looking at those deals, I'm not a full-time job, but I mean, it's another business in itself, and you need to be available for that business too. And you need to make sure that your ATM machine doesn't run out of money. You know what I mean? And so you're constantly filling that up with making sure that your people are running and doing it. And it takes a while. You know, it's not like you just click your fingers in 6 months, your team's perfect, you hired the right people, they're going to stay with you forever, and your systems and marketing are just going to work the same that they are forever and ever and ever. You got to stay on top of all that. You got to review all the deals. You got to look at the leads. You got to get in there and see, are we missing opportunities here? What's slipping through the cracks? All those things take time until you can hire somebody like Jackie, who
she's amazing.
She's incredible. I'm telling you, right? She knows that she's got it all, right? But it took, but that took 2 years to get her to this point. You know what I mean? And that's her and I working together. I mean, I talk about my schedule and pretty much being free to coach all day long, but it's one reason only, is because for the last 2 years, Jackie and I have been working, hand in glove with each other to make sure that she could take over everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's, I mean, you gave me a lot of good stuff, like during this podcast, like before we were hanging out. I think the biggest thing that I'm gonna take away, I mean, everything, but like the meeting y'all had, and like how this is this, I know this, where this is this, I know this, where this is like everything, like about each person, about each list, about each, is just detailed to where everything, you can just see where you're getting deals, where you're, how many this leads this callers bring in, how many, everything is just detailed to a science.
Yeah. It's scoreboard. It's scoreboard. And listen, Jackie's job before this she was a professional house sitter. Literally, she would just house sit in people's places all over the country. And luckily, she started dating one of my best friends, Jeremy, my disposition, and they got married. And I was able to pull her over. It took a while, but once you get the right people in place and really pour into them and let them have ownership of it, I think that's another. I think that would be the sixth thing on that list of leadership, is just let them have ownership of their role. Guide them, be there, encourage them, support them, love them, but let them have the ownership of the role, because if they have the ownership of the role, they're going to start making decisions without you, and that's going to really take off.
So you're saying, like, don't micromanage it.
Exactly.
Yeah, try not to do that.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And, I mean, we're staring right at, our best month in business ever. It's a $400,000 month. I mean, it's absolutely bananas, and that's with 5 people. You know what I mean? You don't have to have a giant crew. You just need to get the most out of everybody. Yep.
Yeah, I had one more question, but you answered it.
Okay, good. Well, this has been good.
Yeah,
Let's so we're gonna wrap this up. I mean, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that you brought the team. I think that it's gonna really help them kind of visualize and see what it looks like to build and grow and like actually be, like a family type feel to it. And I'm excited that you're here, and I'm glad that you decided to do this. I know you wanted to wait and ring the bell and do a traditional podcast, but we certainly will. But I thought that this was just really really cool, and I thought you had some really, really, really good questions. So
I appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Josh. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Everybody else out there, if you're interested in joining the most proactive group in real estate investing, it is the TTP family. It is the TTP program. Go to wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Wholesalinginc.com/TTP. Check out the website. Check out what it's about. Check out all the testimonials. If it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call. I look forward to working with you personally. And as always, I encourage you to talk to people. Until next time, love you guys. See ya.